Hi friends, and since this is both a book and a basketball channel, I feel like I need to do something where I combine the both of them, and so we're gonna start this new segment. I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet. We'll see one day. We'll figure it out. Um, but I just want to tell you guys what I'm reading, what I'm excited to watch, and just maybe some quick discussions on some hot topics. Today's topic is gonna be about Juju Watkins Hannah Hidalgo and whether coaches should be hitting the red button. But first, what I'm reading, um, I have one more chapter left in When Chicken Heads Come Home to Roost, and I can't wait to make part 2 of this video. I'm debating if I want to like do some research first before I make the video, but so that I can add that into my research into my part 2. But I don't know. I need to get these thoughts off. I really need to get these thoughts off. But anyway, I have one more chapter of that. And then Vagabonds, I'm like halfway through. I was listening to the audiobook and reading the physical, but I felt like I was getting distracted while I was listening to the audiobook for Vagabonds. So I decided I'm just gonna read the physical copy. Hopefully I can get through that pretty soon, hopefully by the end of this week, I think, because I really need to catch up with my reading goal. I'm really behind. I also started reading Becoming Abolitionist. That's another title that's been on my shelf forever, and I just never got to. And so that's kind of where I am on reading. If I could read all 3 of those books, if I could finish all 3 of those books by next week, I'm gonna be feeling myself. That's really ambitious, but I'm gonna make that as a mental note. So when I come back next week, I'll let y'all know if I did that. Okay, item 2, what games I'm excited to watch this week. So this week is Champs Week, and so all of the attorney teams are punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament. I'm excited. If you have never watched women's college basketball, to be honest with you, you should, like when March Madness starts, you should tune in. It starts on the, I want to say the 20th. I want to say the 20th, the 19th or the 20th. Oh, the 19th. It starts on March 19th. Y'all gotta watch. Y'all gotta watch. We're not quite there yet. There are still teams. All of the Power 4 teams have punched their tickets. So the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, Big East, all of them are done. But so now all of the like mid-major programs are left, and so a few of them that I'm excited to see. Purdue Fort Wayne is going up against Green Bay again, and I really hope Purdue Fort Wayne wins this year. I really need them to win this year. Who else? I don't know who is gonna win the West Coast Conference. I was hoping it was gonna be Gonzaga, but they just got upset by Oregon State. So shout out Portland, I guess. I don't know who to root for. I'm not gonna lie. American Athletic. I was really rooting for East Carolina, but they just lost to North Texas. So hopefully Rice makes a run. It probably will be North Texas, but I'm gonna root for Rice. And yeah, there's a bunch of other tournaments. I mean, a bunch of other conferences still going. I'm not really sure where else they're gonna go, but we'll see. Okay, last thing, item 3, and there has been a lot of conversation about Juju Watkins and Hannah Hidalgo and playing and their abilities to how their team plays. Not playing team basketball won't work. That's kind of the premise of the conversation. Actually, let me back up a little bit. So for people who don't follow basketball, here's a little context for you. Juju Watkins plays for University of Southern Cal, and she is like generational, like LeBron James. Honest, I mean, I hate comparing women to men, but like in terms of just like talent, hype, all the things, Juju might be our LeBron. And she's good, amazing player. Um, and honestly, she's a sophomore, and everybody in that sophomore class, like that sophomore class is special. Okay, like you got Juju, you got Hannah Hidalgo, who I'm also about to talk about for a second, but you got Malaysia Fuwali, Madison Booker, you got Zoe Brooks, you got like I'm starting to blame Audie Crooks. There's so many people. So many people. So, and a lot of fun players to watch. So, again, that class is really special. But get back to the point. Hannah Hidalgo plays for. Camera, don't disrespect me right now. So, back to the topic though. Hannah Hidalgo plays for University of Notre Dame. And she's kind of like their focal point. Like she's one of their both Hannah and Juju are guards, and so they kind of carry their team in that way. And the interesting thing about both Hannah and Juju is that as freshmen they were given the keys to these teams, right? They had to kind of put these teams on their back in order for their teams to progress forward. And both, not just Hannah, but Notre Dame and USC lost. Both of them did not win their conference championships. Now, the situations are a little bit different because Notre Dame kind of needed to win, in my opinion, to kind of give them more credibility and maybe secure them as a 1 seed in the tournament. But no, USC on the other hand, it would have been nice for them to win their conference championship, but they didn't really need to because they won a regular season. Notre Dame did also win their regular season. They were like co-champions with North Carolina State, but I guess the difference there is Notre Dame ended up losing 2 games at the end of the regular season, and so people started to be like, "Ooh, they not that good." Anyway, which even that was a little dramatic in my opinion. Um, and honestly, so the question is, should these teams be hitting the red button? And my short answer is no. Like, I need all of us. I think the fun thing about being a fan is that you get to be locked into things and you get to like be so invested. But sometimes I just need us to take a breath. I just need us to take a breath, okay? Like, I get it. It's tournament time, so it's either win or go home. Like, every game that these teams will play from now on will be win or go home. So you either gonna win a championship or you're not. And of course, every fan wants their team to win a championship, but everybody can't win a championship. They just can't. It's only one winner, guys. Only one winner. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to. But you still want your team to put on a good showing. And so a lot of people are having these like think pieces, like these collapsations of like conversations because that whatever that sentence didn't make sense. But a lot of people are basically crashing out about the fact that both of those teams didn't win. And one of the things that we're gonna start with USC. And one of the things that people were saying was that you cannot win games without other people participating, without team participation. And while I agree with that sentiment, while I completely agree with that idea, Um, it's ahistorical in the context of USC and Notre Dame, and USC especially. And so I'm gonna show y'all, like, I'm gonna pull up these scores and kind of too to give you a little bit more context of why people are crashing out. Okay. So this is, so USC and UCLA played each other 3 times. Okay, the first 2 times USC bust UCLA ass. I think this was their second game. The first game USC won 71-60, and then the second game USC won 80-67. And what I want us to note here is Juju had a monster game, right? And like this game, she had 30 points, 30 points, 3 rounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks, on 10 for 22 shooting. The 22 is important here. She took 22 shots. Okay, the next closest player was Kiki Iriafen, who took 13 shots. This is important. Follow me here. Follow me. In the second game, USC wins. Juju takes 26 shots. Can y'all see that? Yeah. Juju who puts up 38 and 11 and 5, 8 blocks, 12 for 26. I think this was the first game and the other one was the second game. Either way, it don't matter. She took 26 shots. The next closest person here, again, Kiki Iriafen with 14 shots. Now, we go to the last game, and this was the game, the Big Ten tournament, the final. And we looking at this shot chart, and Juju shot 9 for 28. She had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and she shot for 9 for 28. The next closest person is Kiki Iriafen with 12 shots. And so people are having this whole crash out moment and saying, you can't win games like this. But as I just showed y'all, USC has been winning games like this. The difference, however, in all of these games is that Lauren Betts is the Lauren Betts we've been missing. Lauren Betts had 17 points, 5 rebounds on 7 of 10 shooting, 4 steals and 4 blocks. She did not play like that in those last games, okay? Lauren Betts, remember who she was in this Big Ten title. And I feel like that is something that's continuously being ignored. It's being ignored. Like, USC is fine, okay? Like, and then Lauren Betts had a monster game, and they still only lost by 5. Like, the think pieces is too much, guys. It's too much. Like, they're talking about how her teammates can't hit shots and whatever, and I agree with that. I do think that her teammates definitely need to be more involved. They need to take more shots. I'm all for that. But I want us to, like, be serious for a second and just recognize that, like, UCLA just had a better game plan. UCLA hit more shots. This is probably the best shooting that UCLA did in each of the matchups. And that's why they came out with the win. If Lauren Betts gets 4 steals and 4 blocks on your team, it's not your day. And that is okay. That is okay. That's okay. So yes, while I agree with the idea that they should play more team basketball, that's not why they lost. Okay, and I know I need us to get a grip with that. Now on to Notre Dame, because people are crashing out about Notre Dame too, and I understand Notre Dame's crash out a little bit more because the last couple of games, not the 2 games they lost in the regular season, but in the tournament they played against they played Duke and they played California. And honestly, if California had hit more shots, they would have lost that. Notre Dame would have lost that game. But they just couldn't hit shots because Notre Dame has played in the tournament very flat. Um, and it's funny to say that because when you look at this, let's look at these losses, right? NC State, they went into double overtime, ran out of gas, right? Florida State, Hannah just couldn't get going, and they just couldn't hit those final shots. It's fine. It was fine. Louisville, they beat the brakes off of them. Cal, they beat by 11, and I just told 9. I can't do math. You can see that they beat them, but I'm just telling you that they played flat. Like, they did not play to their standard. And people are crashing out because people are crashing out, and somewhat rightfully so. Well, not really rightfully so. I don't like it. And I just want us all to point something out, right? Hannah Hidalgo took 15 shots. Olivia Miles took 14 shots. This is an efficient night for Hannah. She did real good. They didn't play that great, and yet they still won by almost 10, right? And so this is the game where Notre Dame played Duke in the regular season. What you will notice here, Hannah again taking 15 shots. The next closest person, and kind of efficient, not super efficient, but she had 6 free throws, so still pretty good. A good result. The next closest person is Sonia Citron. And yeah, they still won this game by 13. They was game by 13, okay? But take note of what Duke did. 30%, 11%, 72%. Let's go to the Gamecast. Had equal amounts of turnovers. There's a thing here that I want to see. Not the recap. Box score. No. Team stats. That's what I want. They're pretty balanced here. Fast break points, 14. Essentially, Notre Dame did more because they're the better team. I have to air quote that now because Duke just won a conference championship, so they're technically the best team. But anyway, let me get to my point. Duke and Notre Dame played again the other day, and what you'll see is Hannah was 9 for 22. What you also will notice is nobody else took double-digit shots, which is a problem, right? That's compared to how they've been playing previously. It's a problem. You cannot play hero ball. However, Notre Dame lost this game by 5 points, and your leading scorer was not efficient at all, okay? And nobody else took double-digit shots, and you lose by 5. You're gonna be okay. And Notre Dame, I think the thing that the coaches have been talking a lot about is playing defense, and I think that is their key. I do think that beating teams in transition and beating teams getting steals and finishing on the other end, that's kind of their bread and butter. That's their moneymaker, okay? And I just don't think they did not do that well in the Cal game. But they still won, so it didn't matter. But they showed up against Duke. Look, that last game, Duke shot 11%. They shot 20% in this game, okay? 40%. in the same way that UCLA won because Norm Betts showed up, Duke won this game because Alucia Okonwa and Ashlyn Jackson showed up to play. They showed up to take timely shots. They defended defended Notre Dame well. And I think people are trying to find fault in what the offensive team did and what, you know, the USC's and the Notre Dames and what the top teams did, and not recognizing that the teams that they competed against came to play. Okay, both UCLA and Duke looked at them scouts and said, we locked in. Okay, we're gonna follow this game plan the entire time. And Duke is a team that I really enjoy, but they can be very clown car. Okay, they can lose the scout very quickly, and they didn't do that in this game. Duke played so disciplined, and when it even looked like they was kind of getting out of character, Kara Lawson called that timeout and said, let's regroup. Let's lock in for a second. Let's remember what we're doing. And that's how they won the game. Because sometimes that's all it takes. The shots are not going to always fall, okay? And you want them to, and you want to go out there and you want to play your best basketball, but it don't always happen like that. And I do think it's important for teams to share the ball and to be the team effort and all of that kind of stuff. But that stuff you can kind of work out, right? You can try to take easier shots. You can focusing on finishing layups instead of trying to draw contact. Like, those are little minor things that you can fix. But anyway, all that's to say is, I think some of the conversation around both USC and Notre Dame is a little dramatic. It's a little dramatic. Both of them are still teams that I think very well can very well win the title. You know, they can. I still think that both of those teams can, at the very minimum, make it to the Elite Eight. Are they going to lock in enough to do that? We'll find out. We'll find out. But I think that they have all the pieces that they need, and I don't think they need to flip their whole team over and change their complete game plans to win. I do think that both Hannah and Juju can take smarter shots, you know, especially when they're not having the most efficient nights. They can, both of them are such, they're both such great players, and they require so much attention that that's an opportunity for them to get their teammates more involved, which I think we've seen them do this season. Like, we've seen them do it this season, so it's not like that's not something that they can't do. So am I hitting the red button on these two teams? No. I think it'll be okay. Do I think that they need to lock in and not play lackadaisical? Yes. But do I think it's that deep? No. Now, if they lose in the first or second round, then, you know, I'm going to come back and I'm going to apologize to y'all because I was clearly wrong. But other than that, I think it should be fine. So yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for listening to me talk about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and my hot take for the week. I'm gonna come up with a name. If anybody has a name, put it in the comments. You know, maybe I'll give you a little credit. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys.